I'm here at Sunbelt Football Media Days with Old Dominion head coach Ricky Rahne. Coach Rahne, thank you for taking the time speaking with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
First place to start feels like the start of the season and another year where you've got multiple power conference teams. You're also playing Liberty. You've had, I think, both of those on the schedule a few times over the last while, and I think going into the future. Do you feel like that's a good thing that preps you for what is usually a gauntlet in Sunbelt play?
I think it's just an opportunity. I mean, obviously, when you open up with a college football playoff team like Indiana, gives your kids an opportunity to showcase their talents against a team that you know is going to have eyes on it. Not only national eyes, media and things like that, and the average fan, but also scouts, right? And it's a great opportunity for our players and our coaches. We also know that they're going to be a team that's extremely well coached, obviously, with Coach Signetti and our experience playing them. And so that's one of those things that's a great one. Obviously, going into a team that, you know, Indiana, a stadium that our guys have never been to and things like that, it's fun. It's just the same way as South Carolina was last year. Virginia Tech, our guys have been there before, and not all of our guys, obviously, but quite a few of them. So that one's a little bit different. And then getting Liberty to come to us is always a good thing. And then, you know, we've got a really, really good North Carolina Central team that comes to us too. And so that's going to be another challenge that a lot of people overlook, but we know how good a football team that is.
You touched on it a little bit there, but it seems like the Virginia teams, you play JMU every year in conference, but it seems like everyone is happy to play each other. You played Virginia the last couple of years, you played Virginia Tech, you've got them on the schedule for like the next decade.
Right.
Like it seems like, I don't know if there's any like mandate that these teams have to play each other, but it seems like everyone is willing to, if not.
No, and we're very appreciative of both Virginia and Virginia Tech to play us because they certainly don't have to. And when I look at other teams in our league, you know, Georgia State doesn't always get the same. They don't always get the same opportunities to play, you know, Tech and the Bulldogs there, you know. And so I think that it's something that we are very, very appreciative of. Don't know how much longer that's going to last because if you look at some things coming down from those conferences, they're kind of telling teams to maybe not do that as much. And the way that the revenue is going to get distributed for those teams and things like that, it's something that may change. And so we recognize that, and we've got to be able to quickly adjust and quickly move to a new strategy for us.
Switching to the players on your team and your team for this year, Colton Joseph kind of emerged as the season went on, quarterback. Was there a point where you kind of saw it click and you felt like last year was going to be the time he was going to be able to contribute in the way that he did?
You know, I thought when he came in as a true freshman, he did some really good things, and there was a lot of buzz about him. Wasn't quite ready and those sort of things. Then you start to be in the system and know it a little bit more, and he started to make some plays and that sort of thing. But I think, you know, it really started to show at the end of camp last year and into the practices, into the season. I thought the Coastal Carolina game, we didn't win that game, but he showed a lot of things in that game that showed you he was going to be well, and he'd already played. I mean, he came in the Bowling Green game, led us in a fourth quarter comeback and things like that. But and then from then on, I think he had some really special games, you know, and he was able to do with his arm and his legs and do some things. So overall, very excited about what he brings to us. I think that his ability to play for a second year and do some things like that is going to be something that's going to be special.
And then what about the supporting cast around him on the offense?
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of his own linemen back, which is something that I think every quarterback always loves to see, is having those own linemen back. Don't have as much experience at wide receiver or at running back. Wide receiver, we've got some bigger guys coming in, which always helps the quarterback. And going to be able to play multiple guys there, you know, play 5, 6 guys, 7 guys, as opposed to in the past we've really focused on maybe 4. Tight end, going to have more depth there. Really, we only had one healthy tight end all of last year. Now, he was a good one for us and was awesome, but but having multiple ones is helpful. And then at running back, it's going to be a little bit more by committee this year than maybe it's been in the past, and that's something that we look forward to. You know, it was early last year, and then Aaron kind of took over towards the end of the year, but I think it'll be a by committee thing until somebody establishes themselves again.
And then kind of the talk of the town for your team last couple of years has been Jason Henderson, the numbers he's put up, and last year was not able to play, had an injury. So I guess what's it mean for him on the personal side as well, just for your team to get a chance to maybe have a better finish to the story than what last year would have been?
Yeah, we just had a workout the other day, and honestly, it's the best he's ever looked in one of those workouts. Not the best he's looked in 18 months. It's the best he's ever looked, and it was awesome to see him run around having confidence in himself and his body. We have 4 linebackers who are returning starters because Ko was the guy who replaced him, ended up being second team all conference last year. So we have a lot of depth there. It's a great problem to have good players back, and obviously having Jason back, who's put up some historic numbers, is something that we love to have a guy like that back.
One question I had to drop in just for you, because I remembered a couple years ago you talked about getting to all 30 parks. I'm 8 behind you. I just went to Detroit for the first time a couple weeks ago. I guess top 3, and maybe just the experience of like what going to all these MLB ballparks is, because I get it, but for the people watching this who maybe haven't had the opportunity to see this, the different everything about, I guess for me it defines America.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's the key right there. I think you just hit it. Well, for us, we got done 2 years ago, and my wife set it up so that when my oldest son was going to be in this summer going into his 9th grade, we would be done, right? And so that, because we knew he was going to have to start doing some things over the summer there, and we wouldn't have as much time. But I think you hit it. It was our way of showing our kids the country. And, I just this past summer finished sleeping in all 50 states. So I've actually slept in all 50 states, not just driven through it. And so we did Montana and Idaho this past couple weeks here. But my kids are well on their way to being in all 50 states, and I got mine mainly through football coaching. But for them, it's been a different experience. But, we're able to, we're in Arizona and we go hot air ballooning, right? We go in California and we go rock climbing in Malibu. We're in, all these different places we did different things. And I think that was, we're in Detroit, right? And they have, different things that we did there. Like my kids love Detroit. Like it's like one of their favorite places. They loved that park and those sort of things. My wife loves Citi Field. Now she's a homer and she loves PNC Park because she's a Pittsburgh girl. So that's her favorite, and it is an awesome place. It's awesome.
One of the ones I have left to get.
Oh, you're gonna love it. But she likes the modern. She likes space and all those sort of things. My wife's she's taller, and so she likes the little legroom and that sort of thing. For me, I love the old parks. For me, Fenway was an experience I'll never forget. There was a rain delay and it went extra innings. David Ortiz hit his 521st home run, so he actually surpassed Ted Williams that day. And we got out. It was like 2 a.m. The Red Sox won, obviously. The Bruins won that day in the playoff game, and so did the Celtics. And so the town was buzzing. My kids were like, "This is awesome." So that was a good deal. Then we also, I love, my favorite team growing up was the Cubs. I got to meet Ryan Sandberg the day that I went to Wrigley. So that was a day I'll never forget. And then Dodger Stadium, they were getting ready for the All-Star game. An Old Dominion alum hit a home run that game for the Cubs. That's who they were playing. I loved the 60s vibe of Dodger Stadium. I love how they kind of dive into that thing. So I kind of like the nostalgia of it and that sort of thing. But ultimately, it was a great way to show our kids the country.
Great sidetrack for me personally. Getting back to the reason we're all here, I guess. Firstly, what are you hoping for this year for your team?
I mean, I don't ever put like a win-loss record on it or anything like that. I'm very excited about our team. Our team is very close. I've loved how they've worked all spring and summer. And so, I'm excited about this team. I love coaching them each and every day. And that's something that you don't always have. And so I'm looking forward to that a lot. And so this team is a team that I think can do some big things, but we have a lot of growth to have here during camp. And I know that, and so do they.
And the last thing, I've been asking every coach here, I've been doing these interviews, what's a piece of advice that has made you a better football coach over your career that you received?
Well, I think something that's changed, and a piece of advice maybe I've given myself, is, that each and every year is a new team, and you've got to reinstill your core values, the core values of the team. You've got to go back to the fundamentals and the basics each and every year. If you try to skip steps, it's going to be a bad deal. So I think that with the modern football, it's about going back to the basics each and every year, which to me is the fun part. Like, I love teaching and I love doing those sort of things. So that's the part that I really enjoy. And so, a lot of people say, oh, well, this era is not enjoyable for coaches. It is for me. I mean, I like being able to teach kids, and you have to be able to do that each and every year.
Coach Rahne, appreciate the time. Best of luck this season.
Thanks for having me.